We'll be live. Hello, everyone. Make sure you like the stream. I am going to try to get right to the point today because I have so much to show you, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through all of them. So I don't want to waste any time, but it is very important that I ask you at the beginning of the stream that all of you like the show, because that's how we get this content in front of more eyeballs. And given the heavy dose of nonsense that is hitting us on social media, against Jews, against Israel, and pro the most radical movements that are out there right now, we need to be stronger in our response. And you could be part of that response by just simply liking the stream. Make sure in the live chat you tell everybody that you like the stream so other people can see as well. All right. I have a lot of videos to show you. This is going to be a very good reference video for you to see why we stand against these protests, why we are in many different ways, both in the what they are protesting, but also in the way that they're trying to express themselves, right? So there's two different issues here, and I have done a very good job in separating the videos that shows why we're against the view, but also in a separate part, that the second part that we're going into show why we're also against the form of expression, because it is possible for you to have wrong opinions, but we support you expressing them even if we are against the ideas. But here it's not that case. Here we're against your views, but we're also against your expression, because your expression is harmful. Your method of expression is illegal and immoral at the same time. So I'm going to first answer, look at what these people stand for, what they are advocating for, and then go and look at their methods of expression. So again, I think I've done a fairly good job categorizing the stuff that I want to show you. And then after that, I want to also show you a point of comparison to certain other university students from somewhere else. And guess in the live chat what I'm referring to before I get to it, right? So first, some videos showing what they represent. Second, their method of expression. Third, a comparison. We already got a super chat. Thank you so much, guys. This stream might get demonetized. YouTube has been better to us recently, but I do appreciate the super chat. So far, we're still monetized. So let me see. Jack with the €5 super chat saying, what do you think about the anti-Semitism definition bill that the House passed this month? Is it a good definition or is it bad for free speech? I'm glad that there are some pushback against all of this nonsense. I don't know if that's the best way to do it. The Civil Rights Act has some issues when it comes to free speech, but while we have it, I think it should be used equally, right? So yes, there are some issues regarding free speech that you could criticize the Civil Rights Act, but it cannot be applied to, I don't know, Black people, Muslims, Arabs, and not to Jews. So while we have it, Jews should be protected with it as well. And defining what we mean by Jews is, making it clear what we mean. I think it would be in a step in the direction of making sure that this law is being applied equally. So in that sense, it's positive. But overall, there is a question whether this is all too far, but that's a different conversation. I hope I answered the question, right? Yes, if you want to have a problem with this, you should have a problem with all these other limitations that people have when it comes to expressing other forms of idea. But if you have it, then Jews should be able to benefit from it as well. This is a push in that direction to make sure what we're talking about. And I don't like the way they defined it, because there's so many weird, unclear ways they're defining what it means, and I don't think that they're not. It's just such a mess. But the whole thing is a mess. I don't like the definition. I don't like some limitations that it introduces to free speech. But again, this issue is with other cases as well, so you might as well make it equal. Does that answer the question? I hope I answered the question. I think I did. Anyways, I should get to the videos that I have. I will read the super chats between the videos I show you. So I'll do the first series of videos that I want to show you from the protest. And then once I finish those, I'll read any comments or super chats that there might be. And then after that, I will go to the second series of videos, and then the third. And also I have some special data that if I have time, I will show you at the end of the stream. Some really interesting data that, if you feel hope, like that there is no hope for the West and Europe and United States, well, I don't know about Europe, but if United States is just basically lost to leftists and Islamists, I will, if I have time, I will show you some data that might make you a little bit more hopeful. So let's get to the videos. Let's start strong. How about that? How about we start with something pretty heavy, right? So this is, which one of the protests? Let me see. I want to make sure I give you guys the name where each one of these is coming from, right? So what university is this? This one is, hold on. This is important for us to know where this is coming from. Okay, so this is UNC. Okay, so this is UNC, and let's look at what these are. What the protest, one of the protesters. Listen to what she's saying. This is amazing.
Hamas are Palestinians, okay? All of us Hamas,
No, you cannot say that.
No, I can't.
Did you hear that?
Hamas
One more time.
are Palestinians, okay? All of us Hamas,
No, you cannot say that.
No, I can't.
So she said Hamas are Palestinians, right? So you know how sometimes here on this channel we try to separate Palestinians from Hamas, even though unfortunately these days there's a lot of support for Hamas in Palestine. After October 7th, their popularity rose to an all-time high, which is very unfortunate. We were trying to show that before October 7th, the popularity of Hamas in Gaza was pretty low. And we were trying to use that as a way to separate Palestinians from Hamas. Right now, the popularity of Hamas is high, but we still try to separate Palestinians from Hamas, okay? However, this woman is saying, first she started saying that Hamas are Palestinians, like basically trying to say that these are not separable, and also saying all of us are Hamas. And at the end, I think she swore at him in Arabic. So I'm not going to translate that part because YouTube might be sensitive, because it was pretty like a really bad swear word. But listen to this again.
Hamas are Palestinians, okay? All of us Hamas,
all of us Hamas. All of us Hamas.
No, you cannot say that.
No, I can't.
Okay, so somebody said like, no, you cannot say that. That's anti-Semitism. And she's like, yes, I can say that. Well, technically she can. All right, so there's that. Let's go. Let's look at, let me actually respond to some criticism. Somebody could say, Armin, this does not represent all of the protesters. Obviously, that's one woman there, right? But remember, I don't have time to show everything to you. That there are a lot of anti-Semitic, anti-Jewish, pro-Hamas chants and people among these protesters. This just represents one of them. And again, yes, there are many protesters there that might not support Hamas or might not be anti-Jewish. But the thing is that what we're trying to show is what the universities are dealing with, right? So even if your protest, even if it was like only 5% anti-Semitic, you have a protest filled with anti-Semitic people. You as a university, you have under Article 6 of the Civil Rights Act, you have a duty to stop that crap. Like I, as a Jewish student, if I was a Jewish student, I would not feel safe under these protests. It would be a legal obligation of the university, both public and private. Well, the private can do whatever they want. The private university, they could cancel anything anytime they want. It's their private property. But the public universities, again, under Article 6 of the Civil Rights Act, they will have a responsibility. If you have protesters saying, I am Hamas, we are all Hamas, yeah, you need to clean up. The fact that you're a public university doesn't mean that now these protests get to stay. It's a right. You have the right to protest if it's done in the proper way, if you get a permit for it, if you are not harassing other people, if you're not blocking students from going to their classes, and especially because of the Civil Rights Act, if you are not intimidating other students based on not just their religion or ethnicity, but also their nationality. So it's not just if you're a Jew, if you're Israeli, because a lot of people are like, oh, I'm Jewish, I'm part of a protest. Yeah, there are a lot of Israelis as well. If you're Jewish and Israeli, you're extra threatened. And the Civil Rights Act makes it specific. Nationalism, your nation is also part of a protected class when it comes to public places that you should be able to have access to, as any citizen that is the student at that university. So you have a right to protest, but a Jewish student or an Israeli student also has a protected right that the university is obligated to make sure that they protect, that you have a right to your classes, that you have a right to an environment where you're not intimidated. This was done to protect Black students against intimidation when they were going to universities and other places. So now that same rule applies to Jewish people. So if you have protesters saying, I am Hamas, yeah, you as a university, your obligation, even a public university, your obligation is to clean it up. And if you don't, I could sue you. I could sue you as a student. We could collectively, the Jewish students or Israeli students could collectively come sue you because you haven't done your obligation under the law. Right? Look at this. This is this is one video. I have hundreds of videos like this of students praying, like this in universities. Again, when I show these to Iranians in Iran, some of them, they can't believe what they're saying. They're like, are you sure this is America? Which university is this? I don't. That's a white boy, Muslim boy, reading the azan, preaching the azan. Look at that. These people think Islamic prayer and azan, the call to prayer, the azan, Islamic azan, is supporting Palestine. You see how Islam grows on people's victimization? This is how you spread religion. Religion grows on victimhood. That's why religion requires blood. That's why Islam wants blood. The Palestinian blood grows Islam. And that's why they want it to be shed. Do you see the motivation here? These people are convinced that Islamic symbolism and Islamic teachings and Islamic practices are in support of Palestinian children dying right now in Gaza. And this is why Islam's growth depends on the blood of Muslims. And this is why Islam kills Muslims, because it requires blood of Muslims for it to grow. This is why the main victims of Islam are Muslims. The main victims of Islam are Muslims. When you create the motivation, the structure of motivation for you to grow, for your victimhood to be the main way that you grow, then what do you think? What policies do you think that will motivate you for you to adhere to? What actions and policies would you choose? What do you think will happen? What would you think the result would be? Do you think you would try to avoid the killing of your own people? Do you think you will stand in front of it? Do you think that you will resist? Or are you going to be either careless or actually motivated to do things that will kill your own people when your ideology grows because of it?
Allah.
These are non-Muslim. These are mostly non-Muslim students observing an Islamic practice.
صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم.
All right, let's go to the next one. This one is from which university? MIT. These are MIT students chanting, and the chant is in Arabic, but luckily we have an English translation for what they're chanting and the subtitle. Okay, so let's see. We got some super chats, but I will read them once I finish the first series of the videos before I go to, because I want to make sure I get to this, but I will read the super chats. Okay, so the chanting. So it's saying, we wish to say it loud and clear, we don't want to see Zionists here. From water to water means from the river to the sea. Palestine Arab. So basically it's saying the entirety of what they call Palestine, from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea, that entire place that we call Palestine and Israel, they're saying all of it is Arab, right? So from water to water, Palestine, Arabia. So they considered all of it to be Arab land. So basically they're asking for, they're chanting for the annihilation of the country of Israel. Oh, well, actually, I didn't even have. I thought I had to interpret what they were saying, but no, they make it clear themselves. So the next chant, from water to water, Israel destroyed. Israel harabiyat. Israel harabiyat. Israel will be destroyed. Okay, again, from water to water, Palestine Arabiyat, Palestine Arab. Okay, so now the next series of, I guess it keeps getting worse. We will sacrifice our blood and souls for you, Palestine. Well, I don't know how you sacrifice your souls. You're supposed to go to heaven if you sacrifice your blood for Palestine, but I don't think, like, okay, whatever. بالروح بدم نفيدك يا فلسطين. Okay, نفديك يا فلسطين. Free. Okay, so now free Palestine, Israel, get out. So Palestine. So harra means freedom, barra means get out. So Palestine, harra, Israel, barra. So Palestine, free, Israel, get out. Free Palestine, Zionists, get out. The Iron Gate of Al-Aqsa open for the martyr. When I say these people are part of a cult of death, they celebrate death and they're anti-life, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, now it's escalating. From water to water, again, YouTube, not my words. DEATH to Zionists. Okay, DEATH to Zionists. Maybe I should stop dancing to this. YouTube might think I'm celebrating this. I am anti. Okay, wait, hold on. Let me go back a little bit. Instead of dancing, I would go like this, because somebody could cut this part out and make it seem like I'm supporting this. Maybe I shouldn't be dancing here. Don't cut that part out. Cut this part out. Hold on. Let's go a little bit back. Is that better? guys, these are MIT students, okay? MIT students. MIT students, okay? This is, okay. So, this is something I saw some pro-regime Iranians sharing, and they were jizzing over this. They love this, okay? So, you know, pro-regime Iranians are a minority of Iranians, and, you know, the radical religious Iranians who are pro-regime, they are loving these protests. You saw Khamenei tweeting about this and celebrating it. So you actually have to wonder if the regime, if the mullahs in Iran and these radicals in Iran are enjoying your protest, then maybe that's a moment for self-reflection. But so they're praying. The students are praying in a place that is blocking everybody, and they're not supposed to be, and they don't have any permit. And obviously, the university has a right to come and clean up this mess. But that will create a victim, like a video that you could put out for showing how you're the victim. Because imagine a video of students praying an Islamic prayer, you know, their Islamic prayer, and American police coming and trying to stop them from praying. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this was not designed so that this happens, because it shows like their narrative of we are the oppressee and they're the oppressors, and look who the people who are praying are being oppressed by this evil American empire. Nothing captures all of that messaging, all of that framing better than this video that they have managed to get out of these protests. So look at what's happening here. They're telling there's some students are praying and the other students are blocking the police and saying, let them pray. See, you see, these are revolutions, you know, both good and baseless revolutions. Both of them are made from propaganda like this, right? This is very powerful, and you can see how they could use a video like this to show how they're in the right and others are in the wrong. Okay, I'm getting a lot of super chats. I will get to them pretty soon. Thank you guys all for your support. I'm going to try to finish this series of videos and then read the super chats and get to the second series of videos. Okay, so a lot of you saw this video. I just want to add something to it, but for those who haven't, let's just watch this one more time. So this was a PhD student from Columbia University, who ended up asking for humanitarian aid while they were protesting. Humanitarian aid. I think nothing makes light of the suffering of people in Gaza more than privileged students asking for humanitarian aid. But let's watch this one more time.
Why should the university be obligated to provide food to people who've taken over a building?
Well, first of all, we're saying that they're obligated to provide food to students who pay for a meal plan here.
But you mentioned that there was a request that food and water be brought in, unless I misunderstood.
To allow it to be brought in. I mean, well, I guess it's ultimately a question of what kind of community and obligation Columbia feels it has to its students. Do you want students to die of dehydration and starvation?
Die from dehydration and starvation. Okay, may I remind you, it takes months for somebody to, like, many weeks for at least somebody to die from starvation, and the water is running in the university, right? So you could go and turn on the tap water and there's water running. So there's that. But also, let me actually bring this up.
Or get severely ill, even if they disagree with you. If the answer is no, then you should allow basic. I mean, it's crazy to
So she's like, okay, they should allow us to bring food and water in.
say because we're on an Ivy League campus, but this is like basic humanitarian aid we're asking for.
They're asking for humanitarian aid. on an Ivy League university while they're protesting. They're asking for humanitarian aid. When I say these people have a revolution fetish, that they want to be part of they look at people in Gaza and like, how could I have some of that, but without the death and destruction and my house falling on my head, but the feeling like I'm part of the revolution without all the suffering. That's what they want. Like, I want to be feeling like I'm a hero in the story, and I'm oppressed, and I'm fighting against this empire, and I'm fighting against oppression. I don't want to be hungry or thirsty or, have my house destroyed or any of the harsh. I just want the feeling part. The feeling part of being part of a revolution, being a revolutionary, without all the hardship part. So when she says like we want humanitarian aid, it's because this is LARPing. They think like they act. Look at that. She's also wearing the kafia. They want the feel. They look at people in Gaza and like, I'm jealous of that. I want that, but without the suffering. How could I have that? All right. So they're asking for humanitarian aid, right?
Could people please have a glass of water?
But they did put themselves in that very deliberately in that situation and in that position. So it seems like you're sort of saying, we want to be revolutionaries, we want to take over this building, now would you please bring us food?
Yeah.
Nobody's asking them to bring anything. We're asking them to not violently stop us from bringing in basic humanitarian aid.
They're stopping the delivery of food?
We are looking for a commitment from them that they will not stop it.
So it's like, so you guys want to be revolutionary and you're asking them to bring you food while you're doing the revolution? And like, no, we're not asking them to bring us food. We're just asking for a commitment not to stop us from bringing food, so which is kind of contradicts her asking for humanitarian aid part. And somebody else asked her, is anybody stopping you from bringing food? It's like, no, but we're just asking for a commitment, okay?
But they haven't stopped it yet.
I don't know to what extent.
So she's worried about starving and dehydration and people dying from thirst before anybody even stopped water or food coming into the university. Like, okay, can we make sure people... Again, does this not take attention away from the actual suffering of people in Gaza to you?
It has been attempted, but we're looking for a commitment.
All right, so the interesting part is, I wanted to add, is that the campus dining was open during this time. Okay, so hold on. Yeah, the dining, okay, so let me see the correction that I was saying. Per Columbia campus, dining is open. Yeah, during the time that she was asking, the dining room and everything was open and serving food. So that was interesting. All right, so actually, let me show you. Oh, this is what I want to show you about, read to you about this woman, okay? Because a lot of people don't understand what's happening here. And this, I want to tie this to, I am an Iranian. I'm an ex-Muslim Iranian. I'm an Iranian Canadian, right? This is a PhD student in Columbia, and she's a radical leftist with a revolution fetish. And I want to tie these things together because I have produced a lot of content here and other places I've been a guest to, showing you how many Iranians support Israel. And a lot of people are confused about why Iranians are supporting Israel. And they're also confused about how do we have privileged, educated, elite students and academia in general taking such insane positions sometimes. And what is it with radical leftism that keeps creeping into academia? And I want to tie these two together. One thing that makes Iranians support Israel is because Iranians have been here before. More than 40 years ago, we saw exactly the same thing happening in our country. We saw academia being taken over by communists. So this is another brand of radical leftism. This is woke radical leftism. Back then it wasn't woke. Back then it was Marxist, right? So Iran's academia became taken over ideologically by radical leftist ideas. And what they did was that they theorized an ideology that started a unity between them and the Islamists in Iran. And they started an unnecessary revolution because leftists have a revolution fetish. We saw them. We were in a country that was growing economically, industrially, standard of living, education, healthcare, freedom was increasing. The country was moving rapidly in the direction for more freedom. Women were being given the right to vote. Iran was progressing faster than many European countries. And then we had these leftists and Islamists unite with each other against imperialism, against capitalism, against the West, against the government at the time. And the revolution, the Islamic Revolution of 1979 happened. And what the result of that was that we lost the country. We saw what happened. We saw the result of that. So when you look at Iranians today, Iranians are the people. So what you're saying happening in Europe and in North America, it might be new to you guys, but for Iranians, this is deja vu. And they lost a country. They paid a country for that mistake. And that because of that experience, that is why they're right now, most of them are on the right side of history, because they have been educated. They have paid the highest price for this education. If you go look at all the economic estimates for where Iran would be right now economically if the revolution of 1979 did not happen, all the estimates, the lowest is somewhere as much as South Korea, and to the highest estimates as much as Germany. That was supposed to be the today's Iran would have been an Iran with an economy somewhere between South Korea and Germany today. And that's what we have lost. We now have a theocracy that is oppressing and killing and torturing and RIPing dissidents, oppressing women, oppressing LGBT, oppressing Jews, oppressing any source of descent, lack of freedom, Sharia law forced upon the people, and a ruined economy, and no relationship, no normal relationship with the rest of the world. This is what we paid when Islamists and leftists came together and took over our academia, and the academia managed to do what? Build a unity with the mosques. There was a unity between leftist academia and the network that the mosques had access to. And this is why this is deja vu, and this is why Iranians are standing up against this, because they're seeing this and they cannot believe that Westerners are doing the same. Like, do you not see the history? Like, listen, we have been here. Please listen to us. We know what the end of this looks like. I wrote an article, by the way, about this on Queer Majority. If you guys want to just search for Queer Majority Armin, you'll see my articles. And the name of this article, I could just put the link to it in the live chat. I go through this in a lot of detail in that article, and it's called By Any Means Necessary, Iran, Hamas, and the Left. Okay, I'll put the link to that article for anybody who wants to know why Iranians have these views these days, is because of this. Okay, so why did I give you all that context? Because I want you to understand why is academia the place that leftists go and infiltrate? Like academia, the humanities within academia, because it's harder to do that with STEM and other places of academia. But ever since Marx, and what happened was a lot of leftists used academically sound, the complexity of language and the complexity of academic wording of things as a way to disguise their horrible ideas as something nuanced and intelligent, right? Because academia, in academia, a lot of people who are not familiar with their vocabulary and the way that they use language. They look at what comes out of academia and they assume they must be all intelligent, and this is something that is above their head. And when Marx theorized his, when he had his books out, the way that he talked about these things were very complicated, and it became a virtue signal for a lot of leftists to read theory and act like they're elites and above other people because they understand these things. So basically, complicated wording of really bad ideas became a cover for how bad these ideas are. So academia was a very good place for leftists to hide their ideas behind complicated wording of things. And the reason why I'm telling you all this is why academia became a good hiding spot for really horrible ideas, especially the humanities, right? Not the STEM and stuff. The reason why I'm telling you all of this is because once you go, I went and looked into this PhD student, and I just wanted to read to you what her dissertation is about. Okay, so you can go look this up. I'm not making this up. This is a PhD student, and this is her dissertation. Okay, let me actually bring her. Yeah, okay. My dissertation is on the fantasies of limitless energy in the transatlantic romantic imagination from 1760 to 1860. Again, one more time, in case you didn't understand that. My dissertation is on fantasies of limitless energy in the transatlantic romantic imagination from 1760 to 1860. My goal is to write a prehistory of metabolic rift, Marx's term for the disruption of energy circuits caused by industrialization under capitalism. And then she continues, I am particularly interested in theories of the imagination and poetry as interpreted through a Marxian lens in order to update and propose an alternative to historicist ideological critiques of the romantic imagination. You're getting all that, guys? And then it continues, prior to joining Columbia, I worked as a political strategist for leftist and progressive causes and remain active in the higher education labor movement. All right. I just wanted you to all have a little bit of context before I read you her dissertation, right? So let me show you something that Susanna sent me. This is their this is what they're handing out in the universities these days, okay? This is their guideline on how to do the protest. Oh, before I read the guideline, let me actually read some super chats. A Reincarnation Entertainment saying, what is the best evidence and arguments that Israel's are the good guys? YouTube won't let me use certain words. Well, I have done a lot of, the best evidence is that this channel, okay? Go watch my previous videos. First of all, Israel are the good guys is such a generalization, okay? Every country has good and bad people, okay? What you mean, I think, is supposed to, if you want to talk about it more specifically, Israel as a country they have a right to exist. They have a right to defend themselves. The country has a right to defend themselves. And their response in Gaza has been mostly justified. And obviously, just like any war, they are going to have bad actors and examples of actions that could be condemned or have been done that could be criticized. Every war will have examples of certain soldiers who are bad, who have done something horrible, or certain actions that could be condemned or that could be criticized, right? But what we are seeing right now is that the IDF, so far, what the evidence shows is even if there are specific examples of wrongdoings, there systematically from the top down, IDF is doing more than any other military in history to try to reduce civilian casualties. But I'm not going to come and say Israel, like everybody in Israel is good or everybody in Palestine is bad. Obviously, that's a mass generalization. That's what I would say. I would say Israel as a country and IDF as a military in this in the war right now in Gaza. First of all, they had the right to respond to the October 7th attack, and what they're doing in Gaza so far has been they have done more than any other country in history with regards to trying to reduce civilian casualties. That's what I'm saying. And if you want to see the evidence for it, go watch our previous shows because we covered this in great detail. And subscribe to this channel because we were going to keep talking about that. And thank you so much, Podamit, for becoming a member. I appreciate your support. I don't know if I read that right, but I appreciate that. And then we have Baruch Spinoza. Oh, Spinoza saying with a super sticker. Thank you for the $20 super sticker. That's very generous. And then we have Angry Keyboard Warrior saying, on my campus, the Muslim Student Association distributed flyers justifying October 7th. Oh, amazing. Can you please send that to me? Can you please send me a picture of that? October 7th, a week after it happened. Okay, so before even Israel responded. Yeah, please send that to me. I would like to see that. And Nilfar with the $20 super chat. Thank you. That's very generous. Saying thank you, Armin. Thank you, Atheist Republic. Well, I appreciate you, Nilfar. Thank you for the huge support. Bar with the 6 shekel super chat. I love it when I get support from Israel. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you. Saying World War II ended. How are we fighting the same fight again? Yeah, that's frustrating. I know. I mean, to be fair, it's not the same fight. World War II was a lot worse. Okay, actually, let me give you some hope. Okay, this is a much smaller war that we're dealing with, and if liberalism and Western countries and Israel managed to come out of, and Jews managed to come out of World War II and survived and lived, they will be able to defeat this enemy as well. Okay, so this is I just want to make sure that we're not just all dismissing any signs for hope. I think like we have managed to defeat communism and Nazism, and we will defeat Islamism as well. So. Reincarnation Entertainment saying, Amin is in this conflict. Thanks, Armin. You're the best. Well, in this conflict, it's not Palestine versus Israel. It's Hamas versus Israel. Israel is also saving Palestine from Hamas. Okay, so Israel is fighting for 2 countries right now. If Israel is successful, it will be in the best interest of both Israel and Palestine. So I don't want to say this is Israel versus Palestine. This is Hamas versus Israel and Palestine, and Israel is the only one who could save both Israel and Palestine. That's how we know who's on the right side. Okay, HD Drake, thank you so much for the $20 super chat saying, I was in college when the post-modern Marxists started taking over academia. Okay, yes. One of these professors literally told me that these ideas are weapons to be used against the oppressors. This is years in the making. Exactly. So let's go look at this. Again, thank you, Susanna, for highlighting the main parts. I'm not going to read this entire thing, but this is what they're handing out in universities these days on how to do these protests. And you can see at the very, very top, the picture that they have is of somebody breaking glass, causing destruction. Guys, remember, freedom of expression is not the same as this. Your freedom of expression, people are like, oh, what happened to freedom of expression? Campus encampment is not protected speech. Breaking glasses, destroying property is not protected speech. Intimidating students harassing students, blocking students that they have the right to go to their classes. These are not protected speech. This, what you're seeing in this picture, this is not protected speech. So look at this. They're saying, after October 7th, we recognize immediately the need for escalatory resistance to imperialism's escalating violence. Okay? Remember, it's saying after October 7th. It's not saying after Israel's response to October 7th. It's not saying after Israel attacked Gaza in response to October 7th. After October 7th itself, they came to this conclusion. When we say this is not about Palestinian lives, this is about being anti-Jewish. This is not about saving Palestinian lives. This is about ending Jewish lives. Because they came to this conclusion after October 7th, before Israel even started to defend itself, for you to even judge whether that response was justified or not. Right? So, look at what they're trying to say. Look, they want to take direct action against points of production and logistic networks, including ports, bridges, weapons manufacturers, and financial institutions, targeting the very economic arteries of imperialism. They want to come for your wallet. You know, when they say this is not about Palestine, this is about ending Western country as it is, ending the world liberal order. This is about ending your way of life. This is not about saving Palestinians. Palestinians' blood are the excuse. They want Palestinians to die because that will help them escalate. They want to kill Israelis, so Israel has to defend itself. And by defending itself, Palestinians will die. So their death would be used as an excuse to take down your country. They want to take down the United States. They want to take down Canada. They want to take down France. They want to take down the UK. These are all forces of imperialism, and their goal, they took down my country. They wanted to take down my country. That was their goal from the beginning. So they want to now take down your country. I lost the country to these people. Again, it's not about saving people. It's about taking away everything that you have. Look at this. Above all else, escalate. And this is escalation for the sake of escalation. This is a revolution not to make people's lives better. This is a revolution for the sake of revolution. Look, enough. Look at this part. Enough with the de-escalation trainings. Where are the escalation trainings? And then let me see if there's any other parts highlighted. No. Let me bring up the next series of videos. Let me remove the ones that I highlighted. So far we have seen what these people believe, and I showed you something about a little bit about their methodology. But let's now see their methods. We talked about their methods, but let's see some of their methods. And again, I'm not going to be able to show, there's too many videos. I'm just going to highlight some of them. You know, one good thing about, okay, here's the thing. I was going to give you some hope, but I'm also going to take it away right after. Leftists, radical leftists, and these Wokistanis, they're pathetically weak. They're pathetically weak, and if you fight them, they just fall over. Right? It's like when it comes to actually being, if it comes down to it, you know, they're okay with violating laws, and a lot of people who love their country, they follow the laws. So for a while, there's no way to respond to them. But if it comes down to actually responding to them in the way that they're wanting to escalate, they just roll over and cry. So that might seem like it's something good. I'm sorry, I'm just also, like, while I'm talking, I'm also grabbing all these videos because there's a lot of these videos, right? While that seems like this is something good, the problem is that they have no problem bringing in their Islamist friends. That's where they are. That's their strength. Okay, they're pathetically weak in trying to cause disorder, but because they know that they have these limitations, they open the gates of the city to the barbarians, because they want to try to bring down the system, and the system is too strong, and they are very weak. So they look at the barbarians at the other side of the gate, and they're like, okay, they seem strong. We cannot take down these. I don't care that I have different values from them. I don't care that I have different views from them. The point is that I'm against this world liberal order. I'm against the strength of capitalism and the strength of this liberal order. I don't want to take it down, and I can't do it. These people, they have views different than me, but they are strong, and they're against what I'm against. And they always open the door to them, and they will get sacrificed with the liberals because of it. If you actually go read my article, what you could see is that this radical leftist, once they open the gates to the barbarians, the Islamist barbarians come for the liberals and the leftists as if they're the same. But the leftists always open the door, and they keep making the same mistake. They always make the same mistake. They don't learn from history. I mean, they don't care about objective reality, so why would they? But you could go read my article. Again, my article is called "By Any Means Necessary: Iran, Hamas, and the Left," and you can see how they were the first to go. They united with the Islamists to take down the regime, and they were the first on the execution line. Okay. Oh, here's my article. Actually, let me show it to you guys. This is my article. Go read it. It's very mandatory reading for you guys to make sense of what's happening right now in the world. Okay. This is mandatory reading. Go read it and go send it to everyone else as well. Anyways, let's watch some of these videos. Let's start with some light videos. Okay, I got a whole ton of super chats. I will read the super chats once I go through these videos. Thank you guys for the support, guys. That's very nice. But let's start with something. Let's start with something mild, and then we go to more escalation. I just want to see what these so-called environmentalists. This is how they left the scene. This is what the protest looks like. Okay, just something light, just so you guys can see what's happening. Yeah, this is the result. This is in UCLA. This is what they did to the university. Again, looking at the aftermath of what these students left, tell me this: is the university, even a public university, justified to be against this? Isn't the responsibility of a university to not let something like this happen on its campus? You have a right to protest, but you don't have a right to do this to your university, to other people's university. And again, you're a minority, even in this university, which if I have time, I will show you the post. I don't know if I'm going to have time. Okay, yeah, so I actually have to go through all of this faster because I have so much to show you. Let's go through this next one.
Apparently, he claims to be media.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, I just talk.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to men. No,
Yeah.
there's no talking to media.
Yeah. So,
Journalists aren't allowed inside? Why not?
So they're not talking to anybody. They're saying this is a public university. They said we have a right to be here because it's a public university, but they're blocking other people from getting in there, including the journalists. If it's public, then the journalists should be able to go there as well.
Are you afraid of them?
you could get out.
Are you
He's
afraid of
recording.
journalists?
Get out.
Don't grab my mic.
Get out. Get out.
Did you see that? Did you see how he attacked his mic? This is a journalist who has every right, and this is a public area, record anything he wants. And look how they talk about their rights, and they're attacking the journalist and trying to grab his microphone. Look at this.
You could get out.
Are you
He's
afraid of
recording.
journalists?
Get out.
Don't grab my mic.
Get out. Get out. He's recording.
I'm gonna stand right here. It's public property, man. Don't touch my microphone. So this is part of one of the buildings that I guess they have blocked off and aren't allowing people to enter into. If you see over there, that's kind of a, I guess, a catwalk that goes into the encampment there. And they have the
Yeah, that's, I can see from the building, that's UCLA, which is yeah, public university. By the way, guys, I see 300 are watching on YouTube and 300 are watching on Twitter. Everybody who's watching on YouTube, make sure you like this video. I need more people to see this. And if you're watching this on Twitter, come on YouTube on Atheist Republic YouTube channel, because that's where we are streaming this. And if you're not coming right now, make sure you come later to Atheist Republic on YouTube and subscribe to our channel there. Let's go through this next video. Look at it. Okay, look at, tell me if a university should allow this, even a public university, when they say freedom of speech, do you think this is protected speech? Is this if what you're watching right now, is this protected speech? Look, they have made shields out of garbage cans. And they're marching towards the police, okay? These are university students, and they're marching towards the police.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to show the rest because the rest of it might be too violent for YouTube. But needless to say, they just quickly fell over and the police had no problem arresting them. Because let me just see this last part because it's very funny. Hold on. Like they're marching.
Yeah.
Yeah, here. Look at that guy. That guy has spent the time to paint his shield with the Palestinian flag. Look at that guy in the back. He made a shield and he also painted it. They think they're warriors. Yep. Nope. Okay, yeah, so the rest I'm not going to show. This is LARPing. This is LARPing. Yes, exactly. People in the chat are saying this is LARPing. All right, let's go to this next one. So this is I'm just going to quickly go over this one because I just want to show you how they're blocking students, other students, from coming to their own university. These are universities who pay the tuition, and this is their university. They have every right to go to their own campus.
In fact, I bet, despite the private security team that you've assembled, I can really walk like wherever I want over here. And there's not much you can do to me. Well, I'm not sure what's creepier. Me, the student walking on College Hall in the beginning of the morning.
Why are you laying prone and trying to hide?
Or you guys all in balaclavas and spreading flashlights in my face doing the same thing. Last I checked, this isn't even the camp.
I'm right here.
Yeah, I mean, your face is covered.
Don't matter.
I'm not even sure if you're a student. Are you a student, sir?
What you gonna do about it?
I don't know. But I am a student, so like...
Don't give a fuck.
I pay good money for this one. It's like a nice campus, you know?
Interesting.
Right.
You ain't coming in the camp.
No, it's not late at night, it's early in the morning.
You ain't coming in the camp. Back up.
Not in the camp.
Back up.
Your camp is on this side, man.
Back up.
Your side's on this, man. You can't do anything.
Back up.
You can't touch me.
Back up.
I'm not even sure you can stand right in front of me like that.
Yes,
It's kind of
I
annoying.
can. Oh, yeah.
All right.
I can.
We're not touching.
That's true.
Don't do something you're gonna regret.
Oh,
You shouldn't threaten me.
don't do something you're going to regret. That sounds like a
Like
threat.
that either. It's kind of weird.
Don't do something you're gonna regret.
All right.
I think
We're
it's
in
time for you to
kefiyas
go.
and stuff.
I'm really not sure you have that jurisdiction. Right? This is all of our, well, I'm not even sure if it's all of our campus because, like, I'm not sure which of any of you are students.
This is an occupation. It doesn't fucking matter.
Oh, okay.
Do you think you're doing a good thing right now? You're fucking up real
I'm
bad.
doing a neutral thing right now.
Neutral.
So I think I'm just walking around on College Green, and I'm getting harassed by men in balaclavas and women in balaclavas,
Nah, you're
with scarves.
stalking, laying in the shadows. That's what you're doing. You're being a real creep.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, very good.
And then they proceed to
Fucking clown.
like
Get the fuck out of here. Come on, we're done with you.
flash him.
Deeply unserious.
Yeah, it keeps going and going. This goes for a while. They keep start harassing him and stuff. Look at this now. Look, so these are other students who've been blocked from their own university. These are students who are not even political. Let's look at
Not
this.
even a political thing. It's just trying to go to class.
Yeah, I'm trying to go to class, man.
Yeah, this is not when you talk about free speech. Okay, this is not protected speech. This is not protected speech.
You have to go around. Through this bridge.
Yeah, yeah, no.
Because the thing is, even if once you exit the encampment, there's security there. They won't let you go further.
Every university has the right to completely clean up this mess once it gets to this point.
It's not just us that have.
I mean, in fact, if a university allows it to happen to this point, I should, as a student, I would want to sue the university. Why are you not protecting your other students?
I'd rather hear that from security.
You can go ask them.
I can go take that bridge. You take another one. You can go ask them up there.
I mean, that's not the point.
You can't get out basically from the other side. So.
I don't need to get out. My class is up there on the quad.
So he says he's not even political. He just wants to go to his class. I'm glad they're wearing keffiyehs just so that there's no misunderstanding of who's on whose side. So let's look at this. Okay, so this is interesting because here you can see them blocking a Jewish student, which is quite embarrassing. You can see from the Star of David that he's wearing that he's a Jewish student. So let's watch this.
We're going this way. You guys have closed the entrance. We are UCLA students. I have my ID right here. I'm being blocked off, not by the security guard, but by you two. You three. Oh, look, they're making their burger while I'm going this way. Excuse me. This is what they do. Everybody, look at this. Look at this. I'm a UCLA student. I deserve to go here. We pay tuition. This is our school. And they're not letting me walk in. My class is over there. I want to use that entrance. Why can't they go? Will you let me go in? This can be over in a second. Just let me and my friends go in to class.
We're not engaging with that.
Then you can move. Will you move?
We're not engaging with that.
Okay, we're going. We're going. I'm going in. I have my hands up. I'm not hurting them. I'm not hurting them. That's what they do. That's what they do, everybody. You guys are promoting aggression. You guys are promoting hate. We're UCLA students. We deserve to be there. Let's go.
All right, so I have another image that I forgot to show you guys, which is this one. I just want you to see the insanity of all of this. Look at this. Look at this guy. Look at the, oh, wait. Look at the outfit. Look at the LGBT bag, the outfit, and the keffiyeh he's having. This guy came from a protest. Like, this guy is first to go from the people who wear this keffiyeh in Gaza. He will be the first to go. That's insane. That's some level of insanity that I don't know how to deal with. All right, so let me actually go to the next video. Oh, this is great. This is a great video. So let me give you some context about this video. I think a lot of you saw this. So what university was this? Let me make sure I get the university. Oh, I forgot to check which university. I think this was UNC as well. Right, this was UNC, yes. So they removed the American flag and they replaced it with the Palestinian flag at first. And then some people, and then they eventually came to put the American flag back up. So imagine this, you live in a country, you live in the United States, and the American university students, what they're doing is that they're removing the American flag and replacing it with the Palestinian flag. This is almost like a country has been invaded by a foreign force. But then eventually they came out to put the American flag back up, and the pro Hamas students, anti-Israeli students, they were trying to not let the American flag go up, and they were trying to bring it back down. And these patriots, these frat boys, as I understand it, they came under American flag and they tried to keep it up so that it doesn't hit the ground. And again, the beautiful thing about this is that these frat boys that came and defended their country's flag, they actually were born in Russia, and they became American. And look how proud they are of their country. And given that they're born in Russia, I think they understand the difference and what they're supposed to be standing up for. And they were all under the American flag, protecting the American flag, while these other anti-Israeli people were throwing bottles at them, harassing them. And there was another guy holding an Israeli flag going around, and all these pro-Hamas students were attacking him. So watch this one. This is pretty hard lifting. You can see people throwing bottles, spraying them. Look, they're saying these students, these are Americans. They're yelling at them. They're saying, "What's wrong with you?" These are American students yelling at these other students for why they're protecting the American flag, saying, "What's wrong with you?" Let me look at this. Look at how beautiful this picture is. Look at all of them standing under it, protecting the American flag, while like with this drops and waters and people throwing things at them. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that beautiful? I don't know. I loved it. So I wanted to show you. These are what's happening right now in American universities, but I wanted to show you something to compare it to. But before I go there, let me read the super chats. So Podamit is saying, what do you think of today? Well, today was one of those leftist, extremely radical communist leftist parties that is responsible for aligning with the mullahs and basically taking down the Pahlavi dynasty and ruining Iran. So they're criminals, and they're responsible for a lot of the misery and hardship that the Iranian people are facing today. So that's what I think about them. Baruch Spinoza with the $20 super chat saying, most Palestinians have Jewish blood. I wish they knew this. Darwin Akbar. Yeah, I don't really care about blood. The people there in the Middle East, they're all mixed together. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't even care about if you're Arab or Jewish, and I don't think anybody should care about these things. The only reason why we care about these groups of arbitrary, like, made up identities is because I care about it, because racist people care about it, So I don't care. I don't think being Jewish is special. Racist, anti-Jewish racist people force us to care about it, because if you're being labeled, if racist people recognize that label and now they want to end you because you belong to that group, so for your protection, now we have to care about that group. But without those people who want to end you, without those people who are against you, I don't really care about that. Because racist people care about it, we liberals are forced to care about it, because you deserve protection, because people who are against you. So I don't care about any of this blood stuff. But thank you for the support. Reincarnation Entertainment is saying, please consider donating to Atheist Republic. Oh, thank you so much. Using your membership to tell people, member for 3 months. Thank you so much for your support. $10 super chat from HD Drake saying Marxists never want to. Okay, guys, be careful. Never say never, because you always be able to find an exception somewhere, and then you would be wrong. Well, not never. Most times, don't say never. Right? Usually, saying never will make you wrong. Right? Marxists never want to never want a positive equality of lifting up the disadvantaged, but only a negative one of destroying anything good those they label oppressors have. Okay, so let me read this again. Yeah, I agree with you. Most of the time, yeah, that's true with most Marxists, most radical leftists. It's not just Marxists, it's also Wokistani people. So Marxists never want a positive equality of lifting up the disadvantaged, but only a negative one of destroying anything good those they label oppressors have. Yes, usually that's true. Usually that's true. Again, hashtag not always, but yes. Ophelia is saying, thank you so much for the $20 super chat, saying just wait till the Islamists betray the left. They did it before and they'll do it again. The leftists are getting played hardcore. Well, I hope it doesn't come to that, actually, Ophelia. I hope what happened in Iran doesn't happen in these Western countries. I hope liberalism worldwide is stronger, because yes, in my country, unfortunately, the leftists and the Islamists managed to succeed, and they managed to take down a country. But liberal Western countries managed to defeat communism in the Cold War, and I think like globally liberalism is too powerful for these Wokistanis to be able to defeat it. I mean, I'm sure we're going to have to pay heavy prices for them. They are growing and they are changing society, and making it like they are managing to cause a lot of they are getting stronger, and they are becoming more influential in Western countries. But I think the world liberal order is too powerful for these people to be able to completely take it down. We defeated communists at some point, before. We are going to be able to defeat these Wokistanis and these Islamists again. Okay, but that doesn't mean that we should back down. Like, it is a threat. It is a threat. It is a maybe. So we have to stand strong against them. Reincarnation Entertainment is saying the answer to Israel-Palestine conflict is if everyone became non-religious, atheists with empathy, or harm reduction, if they loved one another. What? The answer to Israel-Palestine conflict is, I think, for everyone to become non-religious atheists with empathy or harm reduction, if they loved everyone. Okay, so you're saying that's the answer. I agree that would probably end this cycle of violence and chaos. Okay, atheism and being non-religious doesn't solve everything, but I agree it will solve this one conflict. Would definitely, I think, go away if it wasn't for religion. All right. Now that I give you two, remember I'm progressive. There's a design to what I'm showing you, right? The first series of video was the ideology. The second series of video was the methodology. The third series of videos that now I'm going to upload for you guys is a comparison, right? So remove these videos and upload new ones, video file. So I labeled these videos with the number 3. This video 1, video 2. This is beautiful. You guys gonna love. This is always warms my heart whenever I watch this. And I felt like I shouldn't just show you bad takes and horrible positions from people. I should also show you some good things. You guys want you to feel something beautiful, something positive, right? That's nice, right? All right, so these were American students. Guess what I'm going to show you now? Can somebody guess in the live chat? What is it that I'm about to show you now? I'm not going to show you American students. I'm going to show you university students, but from somewhere else. What am I going to show you? Guys, somebody guess in the live chat. Anybody in the live chat can guess what I'm about to show you? I want to see if anybody knows what I'm about to do. Yes, from Iran. Thank you so much. Okay, so these were Some, not all American students. Now let's look at Iranian university students. But also, remember, this is way years before the Master Revolution. So this is not recent. These are old. Years before the Master Revolution, which made so many Iranians come out in support of Israel after, but, after the Master Revolution, we saw more and more support for Israel in Iran. But this is before. Imagine how it is right now. So let's look at this. So let me give you some context. In universities in Iran, what happens is that they paint the floor with American and Israeli flags so people step on them. Let me actually get these two beautiful pictures as well. Okay. And look how the students behave. So you see the American flag and the Israeli flag. They put it right at the doorway so that the students, when they come into the university, they walk on the Israeli and American flag. So let's look at what happened. You saw they jump. You saw that? So you saw one person walked over it, but most of the students are careful to either jump over it or go over it, right? And again, they're doing this with nobody watching, nobody telling them anything, but they don't want to step on the Israeli flag. Look at the propaganda in Iran and how the students behave. And also the woman who's recording this, she's behind the camera. She's saying like, "I love them." She's saying, "I love them." Like she's cheering them. She's like, "Look how amazing our students are." So let's watch this again. I have more, by the way. This is not. So actually, let me show you this one. You can see this is. Look at this walkway. Look how large it is. They painted the entire walkway with the American flag and the Israeli flag. And look how the students are walking from the corners. Most of the students are going from the sides. Watch this.
Oh! کجا؟ Oh!
So you saw what happened? Everybody is walking around it, and there's two guys that walked on top of it, and everybody is booing them. They're booing the guys that are walking on the flags. Watch this again. Look at this.
Oh! کجا؟
They're chanting against the people who walked on the flags. They're chanting "Bi Sharaf," which is "be without honor." Like you have no honor. You have no honor. The students started chanting. These are Iranian students in Iran chanting against the people who walked on the flags, calling them without honor, right? But let's look at how this looks from the top. Somebody recorded this from their window. So after those two people walked on it, some other people came and walked on it as well. But you can see most of the students are around it. Most of the students are not stepping on the flags, and they're chanting against the people who are on the flags. But you can see the majority are not on the flag. Look, they're going around. So they went and got some basij. Once they sit, the students, when they're coming into the class, you can see they're going around the flags. So once the officials saw this, they got some basijis to come and stay on the flags. So to show that there's some people who work on the flags. So, but you can see that the students are now chanting, and this became a major conflict. And most of the students, as they're coming to their class, they're going around the flags. Yeah. Let me actually show you some pictures. Oh, I think I forgot to, yeah, here. Oh, wait, actually, before I show you some pictures, let me show you, I'm going to show you a video of elementary school, okay? These were universities, but let me show you an elementary school video. So it's not just the university students, it's elementary school students as well. Hold on, look at this. Look, you see they have an American flag there, an Israeli flag there, so that they walk on it. Look at this. So adorable. You saw that? Wait, one more time. Oh, this girl is like, she goes from the other way. You can see that? Oh, look at this. These are children. These are children. So this girl, the boy went from the corner. The girl went all the way around and used the handicap thing to come down. Look at this. This is in Iran. Look. Look at this girl is like, okay, I'm going to go this way. Adorable. Adorable. All right. Let me show you some pictures. How do I share this one? Is it this one? I think it's this one. Oh, yes. You can see, okay, so we have like pictures like this. They are famous in Iran. Students who jump over the flags, they don't step on it. And this is another very famous picture. You can see the Israeli flag down here. And these are students who refuse to step on them. They jump over them. But these are Iranian university students. So, but let me not act like American university students are all bad and stuff, right? Because, just to be fair, there was a poll. Susanna also found this for me. Axios poll, exclusive poll. Most college students shrug at nationwide protests. So I just want to make it not act like, oh, Iranian students are better than American students, okay? Because what you're seeing is actually not the majority of the students. You know, people act like this is like, oh, US is falling. Look how Americans are anti-Israel. This is a minority within a minority. So not only these university students does not represent most Americans, they don't even represent most American students, right? So only a small minority, 8% of college students have participated, right? Students ranked the conflict in the Middle East as the least important issue facing them out of 9 options. The survey found that three times as many college students blame Hamas for the current situation in Gaza than they do President Joe Biden. Okay, so mostly they blame Hamas. A large majority, 81% of students support holding protesters accountable. 81% of university students in America. A majority also said that they oppose the protest tactics. 67% say occupying campus buildings is unacceptable. Another 9% said blocking pro-Israel students from parts of the campus is unacceptable. Okay, so I just want to make sure I defend American students as well. But also there's another poll. So these are just university students, right? There's another poll, Harvard Caps Harris poll. And let me show you the findings of these are just Americans, okay? So let me actually go back to this one. This was from April. This was late April this year, asked from within the United States with a very large sample size, right? So you can see most Americans have a favorable view towards Israel. Most Americans still have a favorable view towards Israel and have an unfavorable view to Antifa, to Palestinian Authority, and extremely unfavorable to Hamas. You can see that they're bottom of the list, right? You could see the poll shows. Okay, so the question was, should Hamas be allowed to continue to run Gaza, or does Hamas needs to be removed from running Gaza? And you can see 78% of Americans think that Hamas should not be allowed to continue to run Gaza. All right, so guys, remember when you feel like, oh, America is falling and stuff? It's not the case. Americans are still pretty heavy toward anti-Hamas. Okay, the concerning part is that if you segment this by ages, as when you go to Generation Z, you can see it's 53%. They're saying Hamas should not be allowed to run Gaza. So if you go to older people, oh no, actually it's only 47. Wow, a minority. Okay, so okay, this is bad. So if you look at 55 and above, 90%, more than 90% of people above 55 think that Hamas should be removed from running Gaza, but only 47% of people below age 24 believe that. So a minority, less than half. That's horrible. 53% think that they should Hamas should be continue to allowed to run Gaza. So this is mostly a Generation Z problem. But here's the question: are they going to grow out of this? Like, is this a problem for our future, or is this just immaturity that people grow out of? So that's the question here. And then let's go to this question. But again, the good part is that 78% are against Hamas running Gaza, right? So the next question, do NATO countries have responsibility to support Israel against Iranian aggression or not? Okay, so when it says Iranian aggression, I try to read it as Islamic Republic's aggression because I don't consider Islamic Republic to be Iran. I know I'm being picky over that, but it's important for me to do that. And you can see 67% think that NATO should support Israel against the Islamic Republic's aggression. Responsible support Iran. Okay, so this is weird because this is the Democrats are more aligned with supporting NATO to support, because as much as Republicans are more pro-Israeli, but they're also not very much in favor of NATO. But Democrats are more in line with supporting NATO, supporting Israel, which is interesting. We have 71% for Democrats and 68% for Republicans. So here's another question. So there's two questions and these two questions show that a strong majority of voters continue to support Israel in the conflict, and 2/3 feel Israel is trying to minimize casualties. Amazing. So these are Americans. This is not the university students. These are all Americans, right? So first question was, in this conflict, do you support more Israel or more of Hamas? And 80% say they support Israel. And the second question, I'm like the question was not Israel versus Palestine, because that would be the wrong question to ask. Israel is not fighting Palestine. Israel is fighting Hamas. The second question is, do you think Israel is trying to avoid civilian casualties in fighting its war against Hamas, or not trying to avoid such casualties? 67% said that it is trying to avoid casualties. Amazing. 67%. That's more than I would have guessed that. But the 80% is also amazing. 80% of Americans pick Israel over Hamas. That's a very good number. Right? So look at this one. A strong majority of voters think Israel should move forward with an operation in Rafah to finish the war. 72%. That is a very good high number. Very good number. And also something else that you could go pay attention to, they also break it down to the people who are following the war closely and the people who are not. So the people who are following the war closely, 77% they support Israel finishing the job in Rafah. And the people who are not following, they only 23% follow. That shows that the more educated they are about the conflict, the more you support Israel's actions, the more you understand why Israel is doing what it's doing. Okay, so this is a very telling comparison, right? So fake question alert, the framing of questions matter. So you have two questions. Again, this is why you have to be careful about the polls and how it was conducted and whether it was this is why it's important that you look at people who do polls scientifically and in ways that it's proven to you for you to get you the results that actually is a reflection of reality. And they demonstrate that here, right? So the question was, there was two questions. Say, do you favor or oppose a permanent ceasefire in Gaza? So do you want a permanent ceasefire or you oppose a ceasefire? Most people, 70% of people said they're in favor of a permanent ceasefire in Gaza, right? And everybody should be in favor of a permanent ceasefire in Gaza eventually, because we don't want endless war. We want countries to defend themselves, participate in wars so that they could end wars, right? But if you ask this question like this, a lot of people will take this and like, oh, stop the war, stop the war, stop the war in Rafah, because most people are in favor of ceasefire. But look, the same question is, if asked in a different way, then it flips if you ask the question more accurately. So look at the question here. Would you favor or oppose that ceasefire if it meant that Hamas was allowed to continue to hold hostages and Hamas will continue to run Gaza? Now it flips. Now 68% are opposing ceasefire and 32% are in favor of ceasefire. Because here's an interesting thing. If you want temporary ceasefire, then Israel should stop the war right now. But if you want long-lasting ceasefire, then Israel should finish the job in Rafah, because if Hamas manages to stay in power, you will have war again down the road again. This will happen over and over again. And Americans understand that. You can see that Americans understand that. Most voters think Hamas is mostly to blame for the crisis in Gaza and are split on the accuracy of the casualties coming out of Gaza. So the question is, do you think the crisis in Gaza is created mostly by Israel or mostly by Hamas? Most Americans, most voting age Americans, 71%, they say Hamas. And the second question, do you think the number of 30,000 casualties in Gaza supplied by Hamas is accurate or exaggerated by the group? So they're 50-50 on that, right? And again, I am 50. This is a very hard question to answer. I don't think I would be, based on the more evidence that I've seen now, I am more skeptical about these numbers than before. So now look at this one. 3 in 1 voters think Iran, or as I would say, the Islamic Republic of Iran, not Iran itself, the government, Iranian government is, okay, but let's read it as they write it, okay? 3 in 4 voters think Iran is responsible for the October 7th attacks, and most say Iran is to blame for the escalating conflict. So one question was, do you think that Iran is responsible for the attacks on Israel by Hamas and Hezbollah, or do you think Iran is not really behind these attacks? 75% said they're responsible. And the second question was, who do you blame more for the escalating conflict in the Middle East, Israel or Iran? And 69% answered Iran. Okay, next question. 2 in 3 vote. Why? By the way, guys, some people might ask me, like, when it comes to Iran, why would you say the Islamic Republic and not Iran? But when it comes to Israel, you would say Israel. But because the gap between the Iranian people and their government is wider than any country in the world. They could not be there's no country that the people are this separate and this different from their government. That's why they're completely different entities. Iran and the Iranian regime are different entities. Okay, so next question. 2 in 3 voters agree negotiating would not work with Iran, and the best way to prevent Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons are sanctions and isolation. Okay, I think that was the last one that I wanted to show you guys. I have a lot more to show, but I'm already 30 minutes over the hour, which I was supposed to finish all this in 1 hour. I have a lot more that I need to get through, but I need to go show all of these things that I showed you guys on my Persian show as well. So for those of you who don't know, this is our English channel. We also have a Persian channel for people in Iran. Most of our audience on my Persian channel is for people in Iran. 80% of them are Iranians who watch it from Iran, and the 20% are mostly Iranians that watch it from outside of Iran, and the rest is Afghans or Tajiks who speak Persian, right? But it's mostly Iranians inside Iran. So I'm going to go do this exact same content on the Persian show for people in Iran, show them all this information for them to see what's happening in American universities. But I'm done with the English now. I need to go prepare for that. I need you guys to like the stream. I think this was the most complete showing, demonstration of what actually is showing the ideology, showing the methodology, showing the comparison, showing that this doesn't represent most American students, and showing that this doesn't represent most Americans, showing that we don't let these views and protests, these images and these protests make you feel like this is most Americans feel like this. And we need to keep saying this, because if you look at both American media, European media, and Iranian media, even Iranian media outside of Iran, they act like, oh, most Americans are now turning against Israel. The polls show that this is just a loud minority. I think this show was very complete. I came with examples, but also came with scientific polls, credible data for you to get a better picture. So I need more people to see this. There's nowhere online has given you such a complete picture of the entirety of this thing, right? So make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you like the stream. Make sure you send this video to people, send the stream to people who are completely buying into this propaganda. This video is the solution. Okay, so share this video. All right, guys, I'm gonna go get ready. Thank you for everybody who supported. Thank you for all the super chats. Let me actually see if we're still monetized, because YouTube has been kind to us recently and not demonetizing us. Let me see if we're still monetized, guys. That's great. We got super chats, a lot of super chats, but we're also still monetized. This is really amazing. Thank you, YouTube. So yeah, we're doing good. The channel is growing. We're getting, our monetization is not being taken away, and people are liking and subscribing and leaving comments. Leave comments after the show is over. The comments really help, and we got a ton of super chats today, so that helps me be able to not do other things and do this instead. So thank you for all of that. Leave a comment after the show is over and introduce this channel to your friends and your enemies, especially your enemies. I want to see the live chat filled with opposing ideas as well, so that there's a conversation happening there as well. Anyways, till next stream, thank you guys. Bye. Mwah.